Not gonna lie, I already did a cold open where I thought I had started things and I didn't hit go live. So I'm gonna do this again. Welcome in to Clippers Talk. We are 208 straight days in of Clippers Talk for you guys. Appreciate everyone here. I'm going to try to talk quietly to save my voice for game 6 and hopefully a game 7. Still feel better than I did last night, but got to load manage the voice, the vocal cords. So I'll just turn up my mic a little bit and talk to you like this. On today's show, I want to go through some of the post-game audio from Jamal Murray, David Adelman, some of the other players, including Nikola Jokic, after the Clippers' Game 5 loss, 131-115 last night in Denver to the Nuggets. Chris is saying, "Hope you're doing well." I don't know if that's a reference to this.
Not too bad, I hope. Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you tonight? Not too bad, I hope.
People are saying they have the adjustment in here. Okay. I'm sure it'll be something real, X's and O's, and not just something snarky or sarcastic. Still got the tea going. If you guys want to get in, 877-520-1150, 877-520-1150. What a difference a couple of games makes. Clippers are up 2-1. Adam, can we beat OKC? Now they're down 3-2. Fire everyone. Yeah. This is how a series goes. It's an emotional roller coaster. I thought it would go 6 or 7. I picked Clippers in 6. I also said, every time I said that I wouldn't be shocked if Denver won in 6. It's a 4-5 matchup. They have the best player in the world. They have championship poise and pedigree. So I'm not shocked where things are. Doesn't mean I'm not disappointed. Doesn't mean I'm not frustrated. I'm just not shocked. I'm not surprised. I was prepared for a long, drawn-out back and forth series. Now, we've gotten to a point where there's been a buzzword in this series. And I talked about it after game 1. But the media started talking about it much more after game 4. And Coach Lou brought it up after game 4 as well. The word is urgency. Do the Clippers have it? What does it look like? Is it just them making shots? And that means there was more of a sense of urgency out there? Is that how you're judging it or grading it? Is it an eye test about intensity and willingness to do whatever it takes to win a basketball game, to play hard, and to start fast? The last 2 games, I've been saying they need to start fast. Well, so far in this series, it's not a miserable number, but it's not great. Over the last 4 games, where the Clippers are 2-2, they've won a couple of those, by the way. But over the last 4 games, they're minus 16 in first quarters. Why don't we go over some of the specifics when it comes to first quarter scoring, getting out of the gates, starting fast? Game 1, they were great in the first quarter. They were up 35-27 after the first. They lost that game in overtime for reasons I'll get into again, in case you haven't already heard my spiel about this. Game 2, they lost the first quarter by 6. It was 31-25 Denver heading into the second. Game 3, the blowout victory by the Clippers at Intuit Dome. They won it by 7 at 35-28. Now we get into game 4, where the Clippers lost it by 5, 27-22. And then game 5 last night, they were down by 12 heading into the second quarter with a score of 35-23. Was it because they didn't play with the right spirit? Were there other factors at hand? Did the Clippers not look locked in? Or was Jamal Murray just on one early? The Clippers were prepared for it, and they just couldn't find a way to counter it. Coach Lou talked about it some last night.
Him out of the game, but he was able to find different ways to score the basketball. Then that blitz kind of spread us out a little bit until Thursday.
Ty, what do you feel?
Let me go back. It's a Justin Russo question.
Yeah, I hope so. Like I said, the last goal,
Again,
I don't think sense of urgency. I think once James went to the bench.
Here you go.
Ty, how concerning is it that 2 games in a row it took you guys getting down 20 in the fourth for like a real sense of urgency to kick in?
I don't think sense of urgency. I think they kicked our butt. They played well. And so, game 4, we didn't, like I said, I didn't think we came out with a sense of urgency, but tonight I thought we had the right intent and they just took it to us.
I think Coach Lou is getting sick of answering questions about sense of urgency. I don't think he's necessarily wrong here about what happened in game 5. He's definitely not wrong about the lack of sense of urgency in game 4. You could see it from the opening possession with that turnover by Kawhi, with the end of the first quarter turnover by James Harden with 1.9 seconds left, where he throws it out of bounds over the head of Ivica Zubac, and they end up getting a three-pointer off of that from Nikola Jokic. And it's kind of what carried their momentum throughout the ball game. Jokic got hot, and it felt like it was the end of the first quarter where the Clippers just had a lack of attention to details, and that's been kind of a theme to me. They have almost felt like they've conceded end of quarters at times, going back to game 1. End of the first half, they play the last couple minutes without Kawhi, without James Harden out there. How do they not have one of them? I know Harden was in foul trouble. Kawhi, I guess, was tired. He's about to get a break at half. Why not keep him out there? Into the third quarter, the same thing happened in the game 1, where Kawhi or James Harden was off the floor. They led by as many as 15. I put out this tweet a little bit earlier that I think resonated with some people. I said this whole lack of urgency theme the last couple of games isn't a game 4-5 thing. To me, it started in game 1, not going for the kill up 15, not having one of Kawhi or Harden on the court at all times, not going all out to win that game from a star minutes perspective. So some people have been talking about a sense of urgency after the last couple of games. To me, and this is something I take away from my old friend Kevin Kennedy, baseball manager. Did it with Texas, with the Boston Red Sox. You may remember him on AM 570 calling games with the Dodgers a lot. Kevin Kennedy, the skipper. He's one of my favorites. He would always talk about a sense of urgency in the playoffs and not taking things inning by inning, but pitch by pitch. Well, I'm thinking possession by possession when it translates to the NBA and basketball in the playoffs. And everything matters. And I think in those 3 minutes without Kawhi and James Harden, they went -4 in game 1. That game went into overtime after they led by 15. They didn't play their guys heavy minutes in that game compared to what Denver did. They lost it. I said if they lost this series, I'm going to remember that game. I'm going to feel like they left some meat on the bone and they didn't have the required sense of urgency to start the series. Now, Kawhi comes back, is brilliant in game 2, carries them. Norm had the big fourth quarter as well. Great. They bounce back. They got the split. They blow them out in game 3. And they looked satisfied in game 4. Coach Lou agrees in game 4, at least, they didn't have that sense of urgency.
And so being a pick up the floor basketball.
Ty, how concerning is it that 2 games in a row, it took you guys getting down 20 in the fourth for like a real sense of urgency to kick in.
I don't think sense of urgency. I think they kicked our butt. They played well. And so, game 4, we didn't, like I said, I didn't think we came out with a sense of urgency, but tonight I thought we had the right intent and they just took it to us.
I agree with him for the most part about last night. Even though they started slow, I think that was more about Jamal Murray and how locked in and how good he was in that first quarter than anything else. I mean, I can go through the game log. It started with a Christian Brown offensive rebound on a Murray miss, a foul on Dunn on Aaron Gordon, who's been destroying them and has started games hot offensively. They're up 2-0. Dunn misses a 3. AG goes baseline for a jumper. Nuggets are in a 2-3 zone early. Zoo puts the Clippers on the board with the layup. Kawhi has a dunk off a Jokic miss in transition. Jamal Murray dunked the other way. He answered so many shots by the Clippers in this game. Truly impressive performance. But after a Powell missed 3, Michael Porter Jr. hit a big 3. Denver was into it. They're in front of their home crowd. They're coming off a historic game winner at the end of game 4, which, by the way, to me, personnel-wise, that's not a sense of urgency. Not having rebounders, not having defenders out there to best match up with Denver on that final possession. I'll say it over and over again. I see it the same way as when you make substitutions to get big guys in at the free throw line if you're going for a rebound late. Whether stopping the opposition from getting an intentional miss or to get a putback yourself on an intentional miss late in the game, you put different personnel in. Coach Lou said guys were cold. Okay, it's 8 seconds. Nico, Ben Simmons, what can you give me? That's another example to me. Harden missed 2 free throws in the first quarter. He had one instance all season where he missed 2 straight free throws, or both free throws at the line. That was a bad sign. Murray 3 put him up 12-6. I did like the sense of urgency from Coach Lou where at the 8-minute mark he put Batum in for Dunn. I thought he'd be the first sub. He was. Aaron Gordon, though, gets fouled on an and one going baseline. Harden was extremely late to react. I don't know where he was on this play. They're up 15-6. Up by 9 that quickly. They go up by 11 after a Murray layup. It's 17-6. You can't keep starting and playing from behind against great teams. And when Denver is at their best, they can be a great team. When Jamal Murray is at his best, he is a great player and a stone cold killer in these scenarios. I mean, Jokic's first points came at the 5-minute mark, and Denver's already up by 10. So, yeah, I didn't love the start. Maybe I even take back what I said earlier, that it was less about what the Clippers weren't doing in the first quarter and more about Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets. The more I think about that first quarter, I didn't like some of the shot selection. And the Clippers looked to be in a daze, lackadaisical. They didn't meet the energy that Denver was playing with. You have to. It's the playoffs. I've seen them do it in this series. I saw them do it in what was a pseudo playoff game against Golden State at the end of the year. Why are they so flat? Are they tired? Are they too old? Kawhi and James Harden just can't sustain it for an entire series. Kawhi had a great game too, but been kind of average since then. James Harden, he has this reputation. We've known about it. When the pressure mounts later on in a playoff series, he hasn't always performed. He has at times, but he hasn't always. And, I didn't double check this, but I'm pretty sure it's accurate based upon my memory here. Somebody posted under last night's episode that went on for 3 hours. Super Dope Hip Hop posted this an hour ago in the comment section of last night's show. Clippers lose Game 5 in Denver to Murray and Russ. And someone chronicled how Harden has performed recently in Games 5, 6, and 7 in the playoffs. Harden's last 5 Game 5s, he's averaged 13 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, while shooting 34% from the field and 26% from 3, and 4 turnovers per game. That's not good. Last night in Game 5, 3 of 9, 11 points, 8 boards, 5 assists. Great. Not enough. He had 4 turnovers. Kawhi led them in assists with 11. So, Harden's last 3 Game 6s. 13 points. 10 points. 6 points. There's an easy way to double check if this is correct. I'll go to the game log to last year and that Game 6. As I will bring you some positivity coming up. I promise. No, wait, one of these. I'm saying he had 16 points in last year's Game 6 against Dallas. Did he count that as a Game 7? Here's some more numbers. If you go his whole career in Game 5s, you know what? Let's put it this way. James Harden has to play better. He has to meet the moment. He can. He has before. But yesterday just wasn't good enough. And the defense and them trying to take him out of the series, also not a good enough excuse. This is what happens in the playoffs. Your stars are going to get keyed in on. You're going to let them scheme you out of a series? Superstars are supposed to beat any defensive coverage. Kawhi and James Harden have not been good enough in this series overall. Both of them. Here was more from Coach Lou last night.
A result like this, and it, before the comeback in Game 4, these 2 games, is this the kind of thing that necessitates changes? Your season is on the line on Thursday.
I mean, we got to respond. I mean, we blew them out in Game 3, and they came back and responded Game 4. So we got to do the same thing. I don't know what changes you can make. They made shots, like I said, making 17 threes, and they blew us out. We made 18 threes, and we blew them out. And so the three-point line is going to be the most important thing. We got to make sure we're taking care of that, which we didn't do a good job with tonight. But like I said, going back home, in 2 to be rocking, we'll be fine.
Coach Lou says, I don't know what changes you can make. There's been a lot of speculation, and I brought it up during the season, that Nico Batum could start in a must-win game. I think he might. I think starting him over Norman Powell or Chris Dunn, but I would start him over Powell before Dunn, honestly, because Dunn's defense, lean into defense. Slow them down in these first quarters. Stop playing from behind. Norm wasn't good enough and hasn't been good enough in this series. 12 points on 12 shots last night. I know Nico was 0 of 2, but his intangibles and everything he brings, and just have a little bit more size out there, is they're getting beat up on the glass early in those first quarters. They're getting second chance points, And the Clippers are having these lapses defensively. I'd go with Nico. I would. And I would probably go over Norm before Nico over Dunn. Here was David Adelman post game last night.
Coach, we're talking before the game about how critical Game 5 is. You didn't want to talk about the story being written. What do you want to read about kind of Jamal Murray's game tonight?
Jamal doing what Jamal does, us helping him a little bit with the way they've been guarding him. I thought we got him loose better, we screened better, allowed him to play in a rhythm. This is a team game, and when guys get hot, it's them being hot and being a special player like he always has been, but it's the other guys setting great screens. I thought DeAndre, Nikola, Russ, whoever they put Zubats on, and obviously Zubats is a really good defender. We got him moving in space a little bit and got Jamal some good looks. On top of the fact, some of the shots he made were just absolutely ridiculous. And said it before the game. I mean, it's coming with him. You know it is in these big moments, these situations. He was born for this. So special night for Jamal, but more importantly, special night for us in the sense of the series. But long way to go.
I don't even think the Clippers played poorly against Jamal. As he said, some of the shots he was hitting were just ridiculous. And they were prepared for him to have a big game, and they still couldn't stop him. He was that good. This is one of those games in the series that maybe you just weren't going to win when Jamal goes for 43. You would have had to have a special night from Kawhi or James Harden or some combination of the two playing at a really high level. It's game 1 that got away. It's game 4 starting as slow as they did and then coming back too late. Those are the games I'm thinking about more than even what just happened last night. Because on top of what Jamal did, Russ comes out, has an 11-point second quarter, is knocking down threes left and right. Hot shooting game. They hit 17 threes. This might have just been one of those games where, yeah, you weren't winning this one, but it's the ones you let get away earlier in the series to me. And I said it after game 1. I don't know if Denver is a team where you can just give away games to and expect to win the series. It wasn't Dallas in 2021 going down 0-2. It wasn't Utah in 2021 in the second round. Denver, I think they have a different level of resolve and belief and confidence and toughness and mental makeup than those teams. On top of the fact their high-end talent is better. Jamal Murray proved it last night. I'm just talking quieter because my voice is teetering on just being non-existent. I got to save whatever voice I have for tomorrow night.
David, was there one shot or one moment from Jamal early where you felt like he was due for a big night?
You can kind of tell the way the ball comes off his hand certain nights. I thought he had a great lift on his jump shot. Some of the early drags, he was pulling up into three-point shots. His left-handed finishes, complementing the shooting. So maybe not one thing. I think it was just a culmination of watching him, showcase his offensive game. And when it's flowing like that, it's the guy that's won us so many playoff games in the past. And when he's complimentary with Nikola, it's great. But it sure is nice to have these nights where it's his show. And, we needed it tonight in a big game. It was fun to watch. And I'm sure for the fans, it was incredible.
David, when you guys won the title, we heard things like play for each other, sacrifice. We heard it all year long. This year, I feel like maybe we haven't heard it as much.
Right.
Do you get the sense that this is a team coming together right now?
Yeah, I felt like that at the end of the year, too. I thought if we didn't come together, we'd be at home right now. We'd be in the play-in. So already thought that. Not every season is supposed to be this pretty, Disney movie or something, man. Like, this is the NBA. We had ups and downs. We had injuries. We had guys in and out. Things got negative for a while when things aren't going your way. And especially when you lose games late in the season that are important. So for us to bounce back, find a way to get the 4 seed, like I've been saying, I feel like this story is really trying to be written in a negative way. So keep trying. Like, I get it. It's part of the deal. And I don't know what's going to happen the rest of this series, but I've seen guys be very impactful mentally with each other. Tonight was another great example. They cut it to 10, they cut it to 8, 6. It seems like we always had a response. And it wasn't just Jamal's special night. It was different people making big plays. CB's 3 at the end of the quarter was enormous. It set the place off. And the momentum was going our way, but that really put us, at a place where it was like, all right, and we rotated those other guys in, and they were so impactful, guys off the bench. So a lot of people are the reason why we won this game. Jamal will be the star tonight, but that was a great playoff team win.
Yeah, the Christian Brown three-pointer to end the third quarter put them up by 16 instead of a 13-point game. Pretty significant. But I would say in the third quarter, when the Clippers went small and made that run, and they had it down to an 8-point game at 88-80 with 3:50 left in the third quarter, and Jamal stepped up and made that big three-pointer. I don't know who was late on it. Kawhi closed out on the play as they sent a lot of attention to Jokic, who made the assist to Jamal there. I don't know if Kawhi was on him. I'd have to watch it again, or if he's just the one guy that came and closed out late. But he was open on that one. That was poorly played by the Clippers and a pretty damn big shot. But up 16 entering the fourth quarter, they were in control.
How nice was it, because that 3 goes in, you're able to sit Joker at the start of the fourth and kind of sit all your starts, so you have to press him as much and you kind of win going away, so you get that little bit of extra rest, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're right. And, it wasn't when I sat him, I'll be honest, in your head, you go, well, you can get him back in quickly if you need to. I had 4 timeouts. But DeAndre was very impactful defensively. And I thought
that DeAndre Jordan block on James Harden. What point of the game was that? Was that in the fourth quarter? You guys know what I'm talking about? The DJ, the DeAndre Jordan block. I think they went the other way. Yeah. It was a block on Harden that led to a Murray run out, and that would put them up by their biggest score, 22. That was early in the fourth quarter. That was very demoralizing.
how he handled some of the variable lineups, I guess you could call it, that Ty goes to. He does such a great job of that. He's never scared to try something in a game. I said this before the series. I really look up to him as a coach, and he did a lot of that stuff tonight. I thought we handled it just well enough to sit some guys and give them a little bit of rest to come back in and have, the right impact that they had there at the end. So, like I said, team wins, man. You need people to make plays, not just score points, defensive rebounds, block shots, rotations, communication, all the things that actually matter in fundamental basketball to win a playoff game.
This guy, Empire Jeff TV, really lacking that whole basketball knowledge thing. Jokic isn't good. Jokic got carried. So he didn't need to be great last night. Doesn't mean he's not good. Good Lord.
Do you feel like Christian has kind of grown into this series, and if so, sort of in what ways?
It's funny. I think CB's played great. I just think he hasn't made shots. But CB has, his effect as far as picking up and being aggressive with James. James is such a hard cover. You're asking a guy to pick him up full, don't foul him, but also don't give him too much space. He might step back and shoot a 3, but also don't let him go straight to the basket with his left hand and shoot a floater. There's a lot of asks going on for Christian with James Harden. And that was a team defensive game tonight with James, but CB's the guy at the point. Like, he's the guy that's matching up with him. So he's giving great energy. I've always said this, CB's never scared of the moment. He may play great, he may play okay, but there is nothing about that guy that's scared of this moment. Yeah, I'm hoping, the offensive part of it, hopefully that's trending into game 6.
Hopefully not with Christian Brown, who he was talking about there. He had 11. I think he had 16 or 17 in game 4. He has been playing better on the offensive end. He had 12 boards in that game. That's not great. I mean, nobody on the Clippers had more than 9, and that was Kawhi. He almost had, I think it would have been his 3rd career triple-double. It's kind of surprising, but it doesn't typically have that many assists, Kawhi Leonard.
Coach, there was a point in the first quarter, I don't know if you remember this play, where Jamal grabbed a rebound above the rim, fully above the rim.
Right.
And that was a point where it kind of looked like he had some real juice tonight. You know, did you realize that in a moment and just kind of see that kind of play out over the rest of the game?
Yeah, and I also thought I know exactly what you're talking about. And I also thought him in the passing lanes, he was exploding in all ways, getting up in the air vertically, pushing and to cut defensively, to cut things off. You're right. He had a lot of juice tonight. And, quietly, so did Aaron. Quietly 23 points. When they jumped up the defenses, it seemed like he made big shots, made the right plays, got into a pick and roll, had a nice finish at the end, to kind of put the game back. I think it was 12 or 14. So, a bunch of guys tonight, man, played well. And the juice, the 2 days helps, but now that's over. So we got to refocus ourselves.
Coach, you said
There was a play when you talk about the little things and rebounding and hustle plays, end of the 3rd quarter. This one was frustrating. The Clippers are trailing 93-82. Murray misses a 3, and Ivica Zubac, instead of grabbing it with both hands, for some reason, tipped it out. It goes to Russ, and he hits a 3. 96-82. That was a brutal little swing there, contributing to them getting up by 16 heading into the 4th. Like, Zoo, grab the ball. And I'd have to watch the tape to see why Ivica Zubac only had 5 rebounds in this game, because that's always, a stat that's going to pop out at you, and it's surprising. That was one play that needed to be made there by Big Zoo. Just get it with both hands.
before the game that Jamal was coming, right? How much of just his improved play throughout this series is him getting healthier? I mean, he had that hamstring at the end of this season and kind of nursed that back into the start of this.
Yeah, I think you're right. The rhythm is rhythm. Whether it's the playoffs or the regular season, you have to play. It's not like we're practicing a lot because you can't really do anything. So it's in-game rhythm that he's finding. And also, the reason why I said that is because I've just seen this too many times where, Jamal's struggling, this and that. It's like, well, it's also the Clippers. They're doing a good job. And we figured a few things out. And he totally capitalized on them, not to mention the incredible individual plays he made tonight. And, even the steal, the dunk at the end after he kind of tweaked his ankle, there was an explosion there. Like at the end of the game, he still had it. So, yeah, really fun to watch.
Let's hear from Jonathan Ing, who called in 877-520-1150. Jonathan, what do you want to say, man?
Hey, Adam. Can you hear me okay?
I got you.
Hello?
Jonathan, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. What's up?
Okay. Yeah, the phone line was kind of weird. So I was calling in. I missed most of the post-game audio from Adelman, but I think, I was just really frustrated last night and gave up on listening to Clippers talk midstream, and it's just like I need to go to bed. So, I think you and I think Clippers film were
Justin
had to
Wilson.
talk about just Justin Wilson. Yeah, we were talking about it on Twitter earlier, and I think. And I thought I dropped the word arrogance, and I thought it might. I don't know if it was necessarily the right word, but in terms of just their urgency or lack thereof, and just I don't know if it was lack of energy or lack of motor or fire. Like, because if that were me losing the way we did lose Game 4, I would have come out pissed and ready to play Game 5, and it didn't seem like the guys were prepared for it. And like the weird thing is we've been like you gave the net ratings in the first quarter earlier of each game, but I think even in that Game 3 blowout that we had, we were still down in the first quarter at a certain point.
Yeah,
So it was
actually,
just like
there's a good stat on this. Justin Russo put this out last night. So over the first 5 minutes of the first 5 games of this series, so 25 minutes total, the Denver Nuggets have outscored the Clippers 76-53. So they're plus 23 the first 5 minutes of the first 5 games. The Clippers have won the remaining 220 minutes by 493 to 453, so by 40. But the first 5 minutes of games, as he said here, they've done a lot of damage. Playing from behind is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So and I just don't like the energy or the lack thereof coming in. And I think part of it might have been like that. The reffing in the first half was pretty horrendous yesterday, with the Nuggets getting away with pushing off guys. Like I think Jokic shoved off Nico and stripped him on that rebound. Nico's like, what the heck? Like he literally got shoved like a toddler, like out of the way. And
there was a play where Bogey
Kawhi
got shoved by, I don't know if it was MPJ, and they didn't call it. And then on the other end, they called Kawhi on a shove on Murray, and Bogey went to the ref and was like, "Hey, this just happened to me." So I agree with you. The refs weren't great.
Yeah, so it was just like I think the second half the reffing was a little more fair, but I think just last night I think the Nuggets are getting away with a level of physicality that the Clippers just can't match, and I don't know if that's kind of taking some of the energy and the fire out of them on the defensive end for the last couple of games. There may be something that I don't know. I'm not a body language doctor. But my 2 adjustments coming into Game 6 would be first on the first possession, someone give a really hard foul, nothing dirty, but just give a really hard foul and set the tone, because we've been getting punked and the Nuggets are just having physicality that is just like that's literally setting the tone. So I think we do that and set the tone. That'll be good for us.
You know,
and then my other adjustment would,
I don't hate that. Nothing dirty, nothing excessive, but just a physical, good, hard playoff foul to make sure you switch things up with how physical they have been. Chris Webber once did this against John Stockton in a series between them, I think in 1999. In fact, I'm gonna play it for you guys because this is it's kind of exemplifies this would probably get you thrown out today, but at the time it was a tone setter.
Jumping at game 2.
For and John Stockton.
Bob, in the beginning of this game, you're going to see the Kings want to guard Karl Malone.
I don't know if you guys saw it. Watch Stockton get on the line.
Bob, in the beginning of this game, you're going to see the Kings want to guard Karl Malone quite a bit differently.
You have immediately run back here.
John Stockton takes a
foul.
Nice fall there.
He knew what he was doing.
Picking up slow. That's unusual for John because he's usually like a bouncing ball. He hits it and gets right back up.
I agree with you. What else?
And they give the personal foul to Chris Webber to start this game.
Harden's been getting blitzed pretty badly, and that's not the excuse of lack of aggression in getting shots up. But I think one thing, and this may be contrary to Harden's style of play, is maybe starting him off ball and running more dribble handoff with him to get him the ball at full speed. I think that'll make it harder to blitz him. So I think when we started doing some of that, like that helped get him going because he can go downhill. And then maybe get the move on his step back 3. That's just one thing. I'm kind of grasping at straws right now, other than the Clippers just need to play better and play with more fire and energy and play like they're pissed off. Because I think just seeing some of the body language and just the lack of intensity is kind of too go for school for me, and it's not sitting well.
Some people in here saying you recommend we injure all their players. No, guys. Recommending
no. Come on, guys.
You bring the fight to them instead of waiting to get down early in the ball game. Because what Denver has been doing, sometimes a team comes out and plays so physical early on, it moves the line of what is a foul and what isn't. And I think coming out in game 4 the way they did was definitely an example of that. They were so physical out there, and the refs can't call every foul. So they just kind of adjust a little bit with what you're allowed to get away with. And the Clippers haven't really responded to them ratcheting up the physicality on their end. They haven't met them there yet.
Yeah. So just going back to the hard foul thing, put a guy on the, get his butt on the floor. Like, hard foul, nothing dirty, but knock him on the ground. And that'll set the tone, because otherwise we look soft.
I'll tell you what was also soft. Mark Jagan here, who I think had the Clippers winning in 5. If we get near a Denver player, it's a foul. It's like, the reason they're down in this series, I don't think, is because the officials. I don't think they've gotten a great whistle. I also don't think they're down 3-2 because the officials. Both things can be true.
Yeah, I think the officials have had something to do with it, given the free throw differential in the first couple of games. And even last night, like, overall, the Clippers haven't had a great whistle, but that's not enough. That's not enough to discount the fact that we've been playing piss poor.
Well, what about the fact that they're missing free throws? They got 5 more free throws than Denver last night, and they missed effing 10 free throws.
Yeah, free throws, and then just getting killed on rebounds. Even that game that we won, I think it was full scope because we lost the rebound differential by 18. So it's just like we're lucky. Like, we shot super well and all the guys were hitting, but like if the field goal percentages weren't as great as they were, like, that would have been an uncomfortable conversation to have, because we got murdered on rebounds. And I think it's just and also too, I think going back to Zoo having 5 rebounds last night, I think what I noticed was the Clippers were switching Harden onto Jokic, and Zoo was guarding whoever was on the perimeter. Yeah. And like, when he's out on the perimeter, like, he's not going to be able to get the rebound because he's out there. And then when Zoo's in the paint, the Nuggets are getting rebounding against him, so his chances of getting a rebound are kind of neutralized because Gordon's athletic and jumping, and then you got Russ in there jumping. Brown's like sneaky athletic and getting his hand tipping the ball and stuff, and it's just like there's no guys aren't crashing for rebounds, and like there's only so much Zoo can do, and if they're conceding these switches for Zoo to, like, Zoo is guarding Russ, Zoo's guarding, like, I think switched out onto Murray at times too, and like at some point, like, what are we doing here? Like,
well, I think it's also, first of all, Ivica Zubac has been on the perimeter plenty in this series, and he hadn't only gotten 5 boards. But I will say this: both teams shot over 50% from the field. I mean, Nuggets were at 56%. Yeah. The Clippers were at 53%. Nuggets shot 17 and 33 from the outside. There weren't as many rebounds to go around either.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the rebounds were a wash last night. Looking at the box score, and I mean, Russ got hot, and that was the difference.
I think the second quarter is everything. The second quarter, you only go +1 when Jokic was out of the game for 4 minutes or whatever it was. That was just miserable, because actually the Clippers, I felt like, played great in that second quarter. They went 14 of 19 from the field. They were lights out. They looked like they had a sense of urgency. They looked like they were stepping up and knowing that they couldn't let this game get away from them. But Denver refused to miss.
63%. Nuggets shot 63% in that second quarter.
The Clippers shot 73%.
Yeah.
And it didn't. And they only got a +4 in the quarter.
And I think it was a combination of the defense letting us down, and then Murray Murray being on a heater. And I think Russ hitting shots hurt us as well. And I don't know if we reacted a little quicker to trying to go at him a little bit on defense, but it's just when Russ was literally like he was chomping at the bit, and like especially when he got the and one on Bogey, and it's just like, oh, come on, guys. So I was pissed off watching that game last night. Like, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
So,
Do you think they win Game 6?
now if they come out playing like chumps like the last 2 games, they got to set the tone. And I think the Nuggets might win it. But I just haven't seen this team play consistently enough in this series to give me hope that they'll come out ready to play.
I still feel pretty confident in this team. I think they're going to win Game 6 and Game 7s. I've seen so many; anything can happen. But we'll see.
Also, Derek Jones Jr. being, I don't know what his status is like.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything.
Knee hyperextension is I don't. It's hard to come back really quick from it.
Yeah, more Batum if he's out. Maybe Amir Coffee plays.
I could see Amir, but then I worry about it too because Amir is probably going to be out of rhythm. That game, the 4 minutes he played against the Warriors, like that was his first game back from his injury, and he looked lost.
He did. There are guys that have been playing in this series and have looked lost at times, even with a rhythm. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It may not be the worst idea.
I got to pull out all the stops. I think hopefully if Amir does get any burn, like his shooting will be huge because I think we need it. So.
All right, Jonathan.
That's my 2 cents. All right, be good, Adam.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call. More from David Adelman.
Westbrook always plays with such passion that it almost feels personal. How did you benefit from that tonight, and in general, how do you benefit?
Yeah, Russ, the special thing about Russ is how stubborn he is. Like, that's how he plays. And when it rolls and he has it going, it can be so impactful energy-wise. Because it's not just the fact that he made shots tonight, it's the fact that he's out there rotating, being a free safety defensively. And honestly, if it was Russ tonight, or if it was Peyton, or if it was whoever, if it was Julian that I threw out there, we all know here that we need more people to step up to win a 4th game, bottom line. And we're going to need another game of someone stepping up, giving that 6-man feeling of I can have a rotation out there, which really helps us obviously win playoff games. But we've been looking for that. When you're at home sometimes, guys have nights. And let's not forget that they had their Game 3 and everybody made shots, and in the playoffs, you hope that you have one night like tonight where it feels like everybody felt good, the ball was going in, the offense was clicking and flowing, but you can't expect that in Game 6. Tonight was what it was. We have to refocus, and we really need to watch the tape. They scored at will at certain parts of those games. We've got to be better defensively throughout the 48.
He's right. Every game is an independent trial. There isn't always carryover from game to game. There usually isn't. Not with 2 teams this closely matched.
David, you talk about how it was a total team win, and just then tonight was what it was. But how proud are you still of the full team effort that this was never trailing and kind of in control the whole game?
Really proud of it, and cool to see the trend of losing a really tough Game 2, getting embarrassed in Game 3. Absolutely bringing it in Game 4, and then really almost, losing it in the 4th quarter. So there's all these ups and downs to it, and you can see, you were talking about it earlier, but the team is connected because they went back and saw the film, they saw where they get better, and that's what you have to do. You have to have extreme honesty in these playoff series because the next game is going to be its own thing, and all you can control is how you can get better, just a little bit better, competitively, schematically, and stay together. And give yourself the best opportunity to win a 4th game.
Thank you, Coach.
Sadly, I like his mindset. Here was Jamal Murray postgame.
Jamal, what impressed you most about how your team responded and played tonight?
We just played hard and played with physicality and played fast and played with a lot of confidence. A lot of conversations going on between each other, clearing up what we want to do and what we're trying to look for. So everything really is a really good team win. Everybody did a job tonight.
Jamal, how much do you appreciate the nuances and the changes throughout the game and throughout the series in terms of all of the adjustments that the Clippers are making and throwing at you and throwing out different coverages and having to combat that throughout.
Well, it's fun. We're doing the same thing. It's fun just be game planning and playing X's and O's, and sometimes saying forget the X's and O's. This is really what it's about, just coming down, playing hard, and everybody trying to be on the same page with whatever we're trying to accomplish. So tonight was just another example of that, and I think we did a really good job of just covering for each other, throughout the game, even when they went on runs or whatever. We just stuck together, and we were able to figure it out, amongst ourselves.
Jamal, your first bucket was that driving dunk. What does that do for you from like an energy or an emotional standpoint that early in the game?
Puts 2 points on the board.
Jamal, can you explain what it's like to play with the level of confidence and be in the rhythm that you were in tonight?
Just glad we got a win, man, to be honest with you. Shots are going to miss, they're going to make. I'm still going to play my game, still going to be aggressive, still going to shoot the shots that I shoot. But like I said, it was a big team win. Guys are setting good screens, guys are running the floor, guys are being unselfish and passing the ball, and vice versa. So I just thought everybody was in a really good rhythm tonight. And that was a big reason why we got the win. Everybody's played with confidence. So yeah, like I said, it was a really good team win.
Jamal Murray is being very modest here. He was outstanding.
Jamal, do you feel like the Clippers have respected you and your team in this series? And if so, or if not, like how has that changed over the course of this series?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't talk to them like that. We're just out there competing, and two great teams battling it out. It's funny because I get some good defenders on me year after year, and I get to create good relationships with those guys. Getting to play against them, we're just joking around, going back and forth, taunting, whatever it is. So it's all part of the competition, part of the game. So it's just another challenge. I respect everybody over there, and it was just fun to go compete.
Jamal, you had a really good second half of the season here, and then that hamstring injury kind of towards the end of the year. Are you all the way back from that? Is that just health wise, are you feeling as good as you can right now? And that's why you had games like the last couple of games.
Yeah, I feel good.
What?
He can admit if he's still not feeling good.
How did that hamstring injury affect you, and where did you start?
That was like 4 weeks ago. I'm 10 games in now. I'm feeling pretty good.
Jamal, what's the battle been like? The kind of back and forth over the course of the series been like with a defender like Chris Dunn, and some of the counters that you try to put on him, and vice versa, and just kind of how does that manifest itself over the course of the series?
There's so many possessions.
Very contemplative with this answer.
Just gotta pick my spots. You can't force it. There's times where you just gotta roll with the punches. There's times where you gotta shake it up a little bit and make them react to you. That's I don't know. That's a good question. There's so many possessions though. I just kind of keep them off balance. Probably the best way I can put it. Keep them off balance. Not give them one look. Give them something to think about. So it's fun getting to compete. Chris Dunn was in the same draft class as me, and we've been competing ever since. Like, he's always fun going against him, and it's always a battle to go against him, to be honest, too. So I just have fun with those matchups, and then they challenge me, and I challenge them. So that's what the playoffs are for.
Chris Dunn went 5th in 2016. Jamal Murray went 7th. Chris Dunn to Minnesota. Chris Dunn was a completely different player coming out of Providence, though, and he was an offensive guy at that time.
Jamal, before the game, there was some video of you with a little girl. I believe it was your daughter. Was she your inspiration tonight?
I mean, sure. I have my mom here, my dad here, yeah, it was just cool. I didn't even finish my pregame routine just because I had her out there, and sometimes that just relaxes me. I don't have to, think about the game. I literally didn't think about the game coming into the game. So it's cool just to have her and kind of have, my priorities in front of me. And when I go play, I'm just playing free. and that's how I played tonight. So, yeah, I give my daughter credit.
Okay.
Jamal, you keep mentioning fun. I'm curious, is there a point during games like this where you can really feel how fun it is? And what does that feel like other than just being fun? What's the depth of that joy?
Figuring out the challenge, and it's not a solo sport where it's just all on you to figure it out. You're just a bunch of guys out there that are trying to do the same thing and have a common goal, and you got to be able to bring them together, or they're bringing you up, and then the challenges arise, and then the series goes back and forth, and there's emotions, and it's everything. It's excitement. It's readiness, like I said, but nervousness. Everything comes into play, and then that's what makes it fun. That's what makes this the most watched time in basketball of the year, and the most fun as a player to play. So obviously, when I can go in there, and for me personally, when I just have fun and I don't think about it, you get games like this, not just from me, but from everybody. Like I said, everybody was loose and came with the right mindset, and it makes these wins much more better and much more enjoyable.
Denver is clearly handling the pressure better than the Clippers so far. They've been in bigger series, bigger games. They're the mentally tougher team right now. They have those intangibles. That's what has them up 3-2. I don't think they have a better roster top to bottom when it comes to playoff rotations. But they're raising their level of play when it's needed more than the Clippers have.
You got Russ back today. Just how much of a boost was that? Just another ball handler out there, somebody who could take some pressure off of you at times?
Yeah, I mean, he's coming in, hitting threes, being aggressive, playing defense. He's just so many different things on the court. And we're going to need more of that. We need more of that. I like when he's being aggressive, and, I'm not the only one yelling at the crowd. It's nice to have somebody else yell at the crowd as well. So
Sometimes the conversation around Christian, I think, gets reduced to making or missing shots. How would you evaluate his overall impact in this series?
I mean, we go down the line, and everybody has had a real input on the series, in my opinion. And if you go watch Christian Brown's rookie highlights, they're not the same as this year. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I see the confidence and the growth, and the joy, and the what did I just say? The confidence shooting mid ranges and going between the legs, and step back. This is what you want to see from a young guy, and improving, and something that you believe in. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to see that those steps being taken year after year, and even game after game. Just he's been great. To have a second year guard in a Hall of Famer, or third year, my bad. To guard a Hall of Famer like down, night in and night out. That builds a lot of character, builds a lot of experience, and he's just absorbing it really well.
Let's compare, because somebody brought up the point that Kawhi has only taken 20 shots or more in one game so far. So let's compare him to Jamal Murray. Let's see here. Jamal Murray, game 1, took 20 shots. Kawhi, game 1, took 15. Kawhi, game 2, took 19, went 15 of 19. Jamal Murray went 9 of 17. Jamal Murray, game 3, took 15. Kawhi, game 3, took 17. It was a blowout. Minutes were down. Jamal Murray, game 4, took 17. Kawhi, game 4, took 22. That's the lone game he's taken that many shots. He was only 10 of 22. And then Kawhi just 15. Jamal 26 last night. So Jamal is averaging 19 shot attempts per game. Kawhi 17.6. Jamal's not the number one option on his team. Kawhi should be on the Clippers. It's interesting to look at.
Two things. First, you mentioned the draft class with Dunn. I think he went a couple spots ahead of you. When you're going against someone who is kind of in that situation and gets chosen over you, even if it's years later, do you use that as a little bit of motivation in the matchup at all?
100%. 100%.
He uses Chris Dunn being drafted before him is added motivation.
Is this something that you thought about coming into the series? Is it something in game? Like, how does that kind of work mentally?
It's more before, no, we're just competing. We're just trying to get the win right now. It's best out of 3. It's not about making it personal, nothing now. It's just, it goes for anybody, not just him. But, it's just a competitive spirit. It's like I said, I like the challenge, and I like to give a challenge too.
Jamal's a dog. He is. He lives for this stuff.
Jake, once you're done,
Last couple games, Mike has managed to be pretty impactful with that shoulder injury. Just what have you kind of seen from him in the toughness department, I guess?
To be honest, it's less about being on the court and making and missing shots. He's engaged and he's everybody's on the same page, and that's huge. Everybody being on the same page and knowing what to expect from each other. And then that goes down the line into making shots or making the right plays. And I just think he's just been super on board with everything and it has been a key to us winning these games, the last couple of games. So. We just need more of it. I hope that shoulder gets better and starts to feel more like himself out there.
Last one, go ahead, Jake.
Jamal, what's it like to have some of these playoff moments in Ball Arena in front of the fans, to have that connection, that moment, and that feedback back with the Nuggets fans?
It's amazing. It's just a lot of fun, like I said, to kind of involve the crowd like that, and because they get us going. They think they're just coming to watch a game, but when they're riled up and they're yelling and we're staying positive or whatever and cheering every play, every loose ball, like that means a lot to us, and that just makes everybody play so much harder. And tonight was just another one of those nights. They just kept giving us life throughout the whole game, no matter what happened, no matter what run they went on. It was always rocking, and that's all you can ask for from the city. And just being here for so many years, it's a lot of fun to have that interaction over and over and over, sometimes with the same fan. I've noticed like, damn, I saw you last time, So it's just kind of cool to even kind of build those relationships later on and stuff like that. So
thanks.
All right, there was Jamal Murray post game. I want to bring something up about starting lineups in this series. And this is an area where the Clippers are losing the battle. We'll see if it leads to losing the war. So the Clippers overall in net ratings in this series are plus 1.9 points per 100 possessions. Denver is minus 1.9, as you would expect. But if you just look at starting lineups in 210 possessions, because Denver has played their guys more in this series, their starting lineup is plus 10.3 net per 100 possessions. The Clippers starting lineup at 189 possessions is minus 10.6. They're being outscored by almost 11 points per 100 possessions. I want to see overall what the plus minus is for this Clippers starting lineup in this series to make it even more clear here. So the starting lineup with James Harden, Kawhi, Norman Powell, Chris Dunn, Ivica Zubac, they've been outscored by 17 points. And that's even with a blowout win by them in this series. When those guys are out there, they are shooting 49% from the field, 38% from 3. But if I go to Denver's guys here and their starting lineup, I want to see what they're shooting. They're at 52% from the field and 46% from 3. So about 4% better from the field and about 7-8% better from 3. And they're a plus 29 overall. Should the Clippers change the starting lineup for Game 6 in a must-win situation? I'm asking you guys as I go through the post game from Nikola Jokic.
Such a dominant performance from you guys in such a close series.
They had one win like this, so we had one win like this too. So we get the lead back. So we are going to LA to get another one. That's our mindset.
How big was Jamal's night from your perspective?
I mean, of course, always when he's that mode, like he's really dangerous and dominant. So he did a really good job tonight.
You changed his position last year. What did you learn from last year that you can take into this year?
I'm just playing. I don't think about like maybe experience. Like we were in this situation, probably that.
What did you see from Russ?
So last season, if you're unfamiliar, they lost a second round series in 7 games with home court advantage in a game 7 where they led by as many as 20 points against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was shocking how that playoff series went. They were the defending champs. They were up by 20 in game 7 at home. They lost 98-90. But Denver won game 5, 115-107. Excuse me, 112-97. They won game 5, 112-97. They got destroyed in game 6 back in Minnesota after they had a 3-2 lead in the series. They lost by 45 in game 6. That's where that question is coming from. Did you learn anything from last year? You were up 3-2. You lost that series. And when you went on the road for that game 6, Minnesota had their backs against the wall, and they came out and beat you by 45. It's worth looking at. I don't know if it's going to translate into this series, but it was a problem for Denver last year.
So Westbrook today just a spark plug off the bench.
Yes, he was really good. He was good. His energy. He made a lot of shots. Of course, he was really impactful tonight.
Why is it so difficult to close out a team like it's going to be on Thursday in LA?
I mean, nobody wants to lose. Nobody, especially in the home court. And we know they're gonna put up the fight, and we are prepared and we're ready. So it's nobody wants to lose. So that's a kind of normal thing.
Clippers have sent a lot of bodies at Jamal just 1 year off the floor in this series. Did you see anything different from him tonight, just in terms of his process going into this, his mentality?
Decisive. He like, even if I'm open, I'm gonna shoot a shot, and I think that's the great mindset, because if you open, you gotta shoot it. He was aggressive. He was attacking, so he was not defending himself.
People make a big deal about your numbers, but I imagine you like a night where you got 13, 12 assists, 10, when y'all win this big and everyone's involved, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It was not my night, and I don't have nothing like that. That's fine. Like, I'm going to try to do whatever I need to do to win a game, and I think everybody needs to accept that. Like, if it's not your night, do whatever you need to do to win the game.
Nicole, you said something like during the 2023 playoffs, something along the lines of, when Jamal's your guys' best player, you guys are nearly unbeatable. What do you think about that just now after a night like that tonight?
I said that.
You said something along those lines. I'm sorry. It's been a long time.
I'm really smart. I'm joking.
Oh, my goodness. When Jamal's their best player, they're nearly unbeatable. I think he's right. Put Jokic when I said that. I'm really smart.
It's been a long time.
I'm really smart. I'm joking. I mean, it's true. When he's our best player, we're really dangerous.
And you guys obviously had to play a bunch of minutes on Saturday. So how big was it for you just to be able to sit a few minutes at the third start of the fourth, and then at the end of the game?
Not much. Not much.
Does it feel different, maybe taking the pressure off you guys, and now the pressure's back on them, and you guys can maybe play a little different, or?
No, we want pressure. We want to make it nasty. We want to make it rough, and we want physicality. So the pressure is still on us.
What have you seen?
That's scary. They're embracing the pressure. Like I said earlier with Jamal, they're doing it better than the Clippers. Listen to that from Jokic. We want it. They want the smoke. We want it nasty.
We want pressure. We want pressure. We want to make it nasty. We want to make it rough, and we want physicality. So the pressure is still on us.
What have you seen?
The pressure is still on us. That's a statement there from Jokic.
from Christian just this whole series and guarding James, that how he's taken on that matchup.
He's
and how important-
definitely accepting the challenge. You know, James is an amazing player, Hall of Famer. And in some moments, unstoppable player, especially offensively. You know, and he has a great group of guys around him. And CB is accepting the challenge. You know, he knows that he's going to make some shots. He knows he's going to go by him. But you know, being there every time means something.
Does this feel like this was the best game of the series from you guys?
Maybe yes, because we controlled the last four quarter. I think the game in LA, I think we were really good. We just didn't control the last quarter, and I think we controlled this one.
And how big, or I mean, rather, what was DA's message to y'all post game?
Yes, I don't remember. I had my nephews here, so I just he was. What did he say? Yes, I mean it's nice, enjoy it, and we need to know that in LA is going to be really, really tough to play.
DJ got that huge block that led to the Jamal dunk. Just kind of what was that like to see from him giving that effort in that fourth quarter?
I think he had a really good minutes. You know, he has impactful minutes. He was there. He was setting screens. He was doing what he was supposed to be, and he did it in a professional way. So you know, he was not mad or angry that he's playing like 7, 8, 6 minutes, depends on the night, and he's doing it professionally. So that was a good veteran and good player like DJ. That's his character.
And MPJ said he got a shot before games 3 and 4, didn't want to tonight because of how sore he is. So how nice was it just to get what you got from Mike? I think he was plus 34, even though he's clearly, you know, not 100%.
I think he had a big stretch, big opening fourth quarter, and 1 and 3, 6 points that kind of kept us in the lead, kept us like momentum. So I think that's what I remember from this game. But you know, he's always gonna sacrifice himself, and that's a good thing.
Nicole Aaron had a big dunk. He came around the edge, the backside, and was wide open. It's from Jamal. Was that a pass from Jamal, or was it a missed shot?
That was a pass, yeah.
Thanks, Nicole.
There was Jokic post-game. Notably absent from doing a post-game interview was James Harden for the second straight game. Here was Aaron Gordon.
Aaron, how did you see different guys on this team step up in different moments tonight to collectively get this win?
Yeah, that was big. That's a big team win for us. I think everybody contributed in their own ways, whether scoring, defensively, communicating, and keeping a positive attitude. That was a really big win and a big team win.
They've just been the grittier team, the scrappier team. They're getting more out of the talent that they have. The Clippers aren't getting enough out of being the more talented playoff rotation. They aren't. The intangibles are with Denver, and also a lot of this is just dumbed down to the Clippers stars haven't been good enough. Kawhi and James Harden both haven't been good enough. Not close, not consistently throughout this series, especially the last 2 games.
Would you describe Jamal Murray's performance?
Huge, man, huge. Could have scored more probably, and he knows it. But he played really well. When he plays like that, we're a terror.
How can you use what happened in Minnesota last year to prepare yourselves for going into LA here in Game 6?
It's that 45-point loss in Game 6 of Minnesota last year where reporters are still hounding them about that. How do you learn from that experience?
Yeah, we don't want to wait. You know, we don't want to miss an opportunity. We don't want to miss a moment, thinking that we can get it back. And yeah, it's not something that we're looking to do. So we're going to come in Game 6 focused.
After not having last game, what kind of boost was having Russ and the depth and allowing, I guess, everyone else could, you know, play a little less, I suppose.
Russ played great. He was everything that we needed him to be. When he plays like that, we're really dangerous. He was incredible.
We want to do all this over analysis. Guys, Russ and Aaron Gordon both had more points than Kawhi and James Harden. How are you going to win that game? Has Aaron Gordon been better than Kawhi and James in this series? overall, more impactful. Aaron Gordon's been amazing for them. That can't happen. You can't win a series that way. The only way the Clippers pull off winning this series somehow and winning tomorrow night is if James and Kawhi wake up and perform at a higher level more consistently. Maybe some of you are surprised I'm saying it about Kawhi. I just told you how many shots he's taken per game compared to Jamal Murray. He hasn't been aggressive enough. I don't care about the defense. They shouldn't have the personnel to stop one of those guys, let alone both of them. How are they stopping both? They're doing at least a good enough job of slowing them down and not letting them be aggressive enough. Is this really about what Denver's doing or what the Clippers aren't doing and what their stars aren't able to achieve right now? That's what's worrisome. That's what has to change first and foremost. Before you talk about X's and O's and Coach Lou and rotations and these things, like it's James and Kawhi. Russ had 21. Harden had 11. Kawhi had 20. Aaron Gordon had 23. They're going to win that game.
You hear and see teams talking at him. Can you feel his energy go even higher?
Yeah. Russ is a master shit talker.
Why?
Because he can rile somebody up and get them out of their game, but he's already on 10, so it doesn't matter really what you say to him because his energy is always going to be there.
I wouldn't say he got Bogey out of his game. Bogey actually had his best game of the series with 18. But Russ can say he outplayed him, I guess. Bogey also had 5 assists. That was encouraging.
How much fun is it in a game like this where you guys are kind of in control the whole game? You never give up the lead, and it's such a big, pivotal swing game, too.
Well, we know it's not going to be. Let me say this: I think the score was deceptive. These are battles. It's a really, really good team, and that was a hard-fought team win.
Well, DA talked about momentum heading.
Like I just make adjustments. Sure. James, Kawhi, be much more aggressive. There's the adjustment. Your stars, your superstars. Live up to it. If you're going to go out with your superstars swinging and firing. That's what it has to be.
In your direction, but then CB's 3 is down to the third, and his defense on Harden obviously being a big piece. So what did you get from him?
Yeah, he's doing a great job. So my young guys, man, they're too young not to guard 94 feet. So I think with CB, I think his defense is playing his way into the game. You know what I mean? Like, if he thinks defense first, then his offense comes soon.
Aaron, how difficult is it to close out a team in a series?
Incredibly difficult, especially with 2 Hall of Fame players, guys that have been doing it before, veterans, savvy vets, and a really savvy coach. So it's a difficult task, but we like challenges.
You had a big dunk where you're kind of unguarded, you came flying around, threw it down. Was that a pass from Jamal or was it a missed shot?
No. He wasn't missing like that tonight. It's a pass.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Aaron Gordon said we'd like challenges there. They like the adversity. They like the pressure. This team fired their head coach and GM a damn week before the playoffs. And it looks like they're coming together and somehow rallying around it. I do want to look at specifically, I mentioned the lineup data earlier and the Clippers starting lineup, since that conversation is not going to go away. I want to see what their defensive rating is with that starting lineup. Because I'm talking about possibly making a change with Batum in for Norman Powell being out. Yeah, their defensive rating is 122. You have to make the change. It's not taking out Chris Dunn to me. It's taking out Norm. His defense has been bad. Justin Wilson from LA Clippers film highlights that with some clips here. I can show you guys. This is him saying the same thing that a lot of us are saying. Having Norman James Harden in the starting lineup is just apparently right now against Denver.
Boy,
Good enough. It's
boy, done it.
Aaron Gordon just bullying Norman Powell there. He can't guard him. Look at this. And then James Harden's your last line of defense. Oof. Crossover, has Norm on him, pushes through him, finds Christian Brown on a back cut. James Harden completely lost his man. One more for you. This is hard to watch. Chris Dunn on Peyton Watson. Bounce pass into Jokic. I'm guessing he's going to find Christian Brown here. Norman Powell is off of him. No man's land. The defensive rating in the starting lineup being 122 is pretty shocking. Pretty shocking right now. Yeah, Justin Wilson thinks the same thing. Harden, Dunn, Kawhi, Batum, Big Zoo. I have been waiting for this to happen. I thought maybe it would have last game. I think this is the time where you got to really consider starting Nico Batum with the season on the line. If I'm going to lose, I'm going out with a guy that I could completely trust. And this is what I said about a month before the end of the regular season. Let me make sure I actually share the screen with you guys. This was a month before the end of the regular season. So there's one other lineup I want to talk about. And I've been mentioning this since the beginning of the season. While everybody was talking about how, well, Adam, the Clippers, they didn't get that power forward. I kept saying, oh, they have one who they have stowed away, who they have been hiding for a long time. They haven't exhausted him, overplayed him this season. They've been keeping it under wraps. They have a power forward who can start in a playoff series next to Ivica Zubac because this guy can shoot. You had to have someone who can shoot and stretch the floor, or else it's going to bog down your offense, which is why I keep saying Chris Dunn can be problematic there. I'm talking about Nico Batum. In a playoff series against the right matchup, even if it's not to start off the playoff series, because you can adjust as it goes along. Nico Batum is their ace in the hole. Nico, St. Nick could save them in a playoff series by giving the ability to play bigger out there. Yeah, this isn't some new thought for me. That was, I think, back in March, and I talked about it throughout the entire year. I think they were saving Nico and his legs for the playoffs. It's time for that to pay off. When you see Aaron Gordon and what he's been able to do in this series against the Clippers, I think it's time to start Nico. Whether it's Dunn or Norm, I would start him over Norm. But either way, I'm going out with Nico Batum in Game 6. I am. He's too good of a player. He's so reliable. I just trust him. I know he hasn't been shooting well the last 2 games. I think he's 1 for his last 8 from the outside. Don't care. I don't. In this series, when Nico Batum is on the floor next to James Harden, Kawhi, Norman Powell, and Ivica Zubac, they have a plus 18.6 net rating. Their offensive rating is 140. They've only used it in 3 games this series. It's been good for them when they've gone to it. I would try it. We keep talking about slow starts. Give Nico the opportunity to start. Let's say he's in for... Oh, man, they haven't really used it at all in this series. With him in for Norman Powell next to the rest of the starters. They have a net rating of 120. I guess they didn't give up 1 field goal because they have a defensive rating of 0 and an offensive rating of 120. So they probably used it for 2 possessions or something. With Nico in this series for Norman Powell next to James Harden, Kawhi, Dunn, and Zubac. That's where I would go. That's it. That's the move to me. Here's Michael Porter Jr. postgame last night.
A lot of guys played well tonight. Tonight it started with Jamal, and then Russ off the bench played amazing as well. But everyone contributed. CB, AG, DJ went in there, did his thing. So, like you said, it was a total team effort tonight.
You mentioned Jamal. How did he once again rise to the moment?
Yeah, I think, we won last game, and he was disappointed in his individual performance. So, one thing about him is he's always going to come back and have a good game. So, tonight we needed everything he had, and he hit so many big shots for us.
How would you describe what Christian Braun has been able to do on James Harden in this series?
Yeah, the last couple of games, I think picking up the aggression on him has been key for us. We know how great of a player James Harden is. So just trying to throw different looks at him and pick him up full court, maybe tire him out a little bit, make him a little uncomfortable has helped us these last couple of games. And it starts with Christian.
It was obvious. No Russ last game put a little stress on how many minutes everybody had to play. So how nice we would have him back and having such a big first half.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, we're looking forward to having Russ back tonight and all the big shots he made. Helped us out a ton off the bench. And, we needed everybody tonight. And, off the bench starting with him.
Michael, with the series tied 2-2, this is always such a big swing game. Just how proud are you of the full team effort that you guys got today?
Yeah, tonight was a great win, at home court, but we know how important this next game is. I think last year when we lost, we were up 3-2 with a chance to close it out in Minnesota, and we got blown out. So we know how important it is to go to LA and have our focus at an all-time high to try to close out the series.
You finished with 14 points today. Are you just getting used to playing with the pain and what you're dealing with right now?
It's getting incrementally better, so that's good. Today I didn't have to take a shot, but it was in a little bit more pain than probably last game because I didn't take a shot. But I'm just going out there trying to space the floor. I know they're not really leaving me, so just trying to space the floor and help my teammate in any way I can.
At what point of the game did you know that Jamal was just feeling it?
Early on. I think early on with some of those early on threes in the first quarter, I could tell.
Then in transition, when he got, by Batum, the pump fake, the layup, I knew he had a lot of energy tonight.
Can anyone guard him when he's on like that?
No, he's a tough cover when he comes into the game. He gets going early and he has that rhythm. He can make the three, he can shoot the midi, he can get at the rim, so it's tough to stop.
Michael, why is a closeout game so hard of a series to do and not put too much pressure on yourself to close out a series?
I think closing out the series is the hardest thing to do in the NBA. Teams are playing with desperation. Their season's on the line. Coaches are going to try anything they can. And so we know how important it is, especially when you're in your opponent's home court. So we got to go to LA focused.
Yeah, how big will it be knowing that OKC's just been chilling since Saturday to get that win? Maybe that'll come with some rest, but, they're not have to worry about this rest of the game stuff.
We can't even worry about that yet. OKC's their own opponent, and we got to get past these guys. We respect them too much to even think about OKC yet.
You mentioned the team aspect of it. It seemed like you guys got a ton of open shots tonight. How much was that just sharing the ball and not one guy just carrying the load?
Yeah, sharing the ball, getting out of transition, guys being aggressive, looking for their shot. It was a total team effort. But I did feel like we offensively have had our best game of the series by far.
Did you have any shots before Game 3 and Game 4 in your shoulder?
Game 3, yeah, shot before Game 3 and shot before Game 4. But that needle going into that joint is the next day. There's a lot of soreness. So I tried to play without the shot today.
What was AD's message to you in the locker room after the game?
DA?
Yeah, sorry.
Just enjoy this win, but there's things we can improve on, and we know that, like I just said, closing out the series is the hardest thing in basketball. So enjoy it, but let's fix the things we can tomorrow and try to improve upon the night.
Thanks, Michael.
Appreciate it.
All right, brief to the point. While that was happening, I pulled some numbers for you guys. So, since we're talking about this move in the starting lineup, for what it's worth, I just posted this while that was happening. Nico next to Harden, Dunn, Kawhi, and Zoo in this series has played 2 minutes, and the Clippers are +6. Nico next to Harden, Powell, Kawhi, Zoo, and the Clippers are +4 in 6 minutes. Maybe I should reword that. Zoo in this series have played together for 2 minutes, and the Clippers are +6. Zoo. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm tired. What do you guys think about that? They've hardly played together. Both these lineups have hardly been used. I don't know. I would do it, but there are no guarantees. None. None at all. None whatsoever. If I'm going out with the guys I trust the most, Nico is on that list. Here was Russell Westbrook postgame last night.
Russell, what was it like to be back out there, get on the floor for Game 5 and just continue to put your effort on the game?
Just grateful, a lot of gratitude, a lot of just, I don't take the game for granted by any means, and just excited and obviously grateful to be able to get back on the floor.
With how tough this Clippers defense has been this season, you guys were able to get in a great flow tonight. What do you kind of attribute how well the offense was tonight?
Just spacing, better pace. I thought we did a good job of setting the tone with our defense, setting the tone with our spacing, our space. They do a lot of different things defensively, change up their coverages, cross match, a lot of different things. So I thought we did a good job of staying focused, running our stuff, and doing a good job of executing as well.
Russ, I feel like once we hit that first mid-range shot, you were in a pretty good rhythm offensively. Can you just speak about how important rhythm is, particularly for your game, and once you kind of see one go through and feel it, and how you can kind of get going from there?
Yeah, I mean, basketball is a rhythm game, and for me, yes, scoring is a part, but just energy, effort. That's how I'm able to get my rhythm and be able to be active, be aggressive, and make sure that I focus on what I need to focus on and find ways to better help my team on both ends.
Russ, it seems like with Jamal, the harder it gets, the better he gets. What do you see when you're out there when he's having a game like this tonight?
Just Jamal being aggressive, man. When he's aggressive, we're a different team. And when he's playing with that swagger and going out and competing at the level that he did tonight, we're a tough team to beat.
Russ, after all these years of playing on this stage and having playoff experience, how much pride do you still take in giving team energy aside from things that just pop up in the box score?
Yeah, it's important, man. I think that's a huge part of the game that, the average eye may not see or the box score may not shows. But I think it's important that it's contagious and it's something that can will your team to victory. And I think it's something that I take pride in and being prepared to be able to bring that from my team every night.
And again, after all these years, how much fun is this still for you? And how much fun were you having with the Clippers bench?
Yeah, I have. You know what, man? I'm like I said, I have so much gratitude and so much respect for the game and so much respect for, being able to go out and compete. I have I always tell myself before every night to have fun. And my fun may look a little different than everybody else's. It may not be with a smile. It may not be running around, slapping hands, but when I'm intense and I'm competing at a high level, I'm having the best time. And that to me is the best part of the game. And even here at 17, I still have so much fun going out competing. And I'm a competitor and one of the best competitors in the world. And I live for moments and live to talk a little mess and competing along with it.
Russ, I know it takes a lot for you to miss any game, let alone a playoff game. What happened in the game where you hurt your foot, and then what did it take for you to get back to play tonight?
I don't even know what happened, actually, to be honest. It was random, but just treatment, locking in on what I need to lock in on, and simultaneously staying in the gym, making sure I'm keeping a rhythm, getting ready to come back and full go to playoffs. You don't have much time to ease your way into any game. And I've been able to do that, be a professional. I'll be there for my team and be a voice, lead even, when I'm not playing. But like I said before, I have so much gratitude. I'm grateful to be able to do that and be there for my team and get prepared for the next game.
Anybody else?
Nope.
All right, thank you.
I think this comment from Clay is a good one. It starts with your superstars in the playoff. If your stars don't show up, you don't have a chance. Then we can start talking about adjustments. I know some are going to say, well, they're not showing up because of adjustments. No, stars, no matter what the defense, no matter what the scheme is, show up. And Kawhi and James Harden haven't been good enough the last couple of games at all. They're not playing at a star level. Being outplayed by Aaron Gordon, Russ, Jamal Murray. It's one thing if you play your best and Jokic is just too good. I said that coming into this series. There's no shame in losing to a team that way. That's not exactly how this series has gone. This has been a missed opportunity so far to take more of a stranglehold on this series. And in fact, now they're down 3-2. Do I believe the Clippers can win? Oh, yeah. Woo! I do. I think they got at least a 50-50 shot of winning this series. Because I think they're going to perform and ball out and win Game 6. And Game 7 in the NBA is a complete crapshoot. Home team usually wins, but those games, they can get ugly. Different guys can step up out of nowhere. I've seen it. Win tomorrow night. Force a Game 7. Put the pressure on Denver. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about. Kawhi and James have to be better. Yes, Coach Luke can be better with some rotations, some minute stuff, but it's a players' league. and their guys have shown up more so far. Series is not over. I expect Intuit Dome to be rocking. I do. Clipper Nation is going to show up, and I think the team is going to follow their lead. The crowd will fuel them. Must win Game 6 tomorrow night from the Dome, 7 p.m. tip-off. We'll have a pregame show starting at 6. I'm Adam Oslin. We'll talk to you then.
Off the air.